Hello, welcome to another video for EarnPED.com. I am StevieB. Hope everybody's doing great today. Plenty of sips, smacks, and haterade to go around. So guys, I uploaded a video the other day that was 30 minutes long, and literally within a minute and a half of it being uploaded, it already had a dislike. I am telling you, the haters are out there, not the ones on Rocktropia, the ones watching the videos, the ones that don't want you to find out how to play smarter, not harder. So guys, do me a huge favor, hit that bell and subscribe, hit that like button on each and every video you watch, because the haters are out to get us, and that includes you guys. They do not want you being successful in Entropia. So guys, today I decided to make a video that I've held off on making for a very, very long time. You'll notice that I'm lost in the woods deep, deep, deep on Calypso. And the reason I avoided making this video is it was something I had not researched, I had not done myself, and I do not like to put content out there if I have not personally done it myself. So I got lucky the other day. I was doing some crafting, and I came across a blueprint to make some of these bad boys. TerraTech PH3 Unlimiteds. So most of the tools that are used for wood cutting when you're cutting down trees are limited in nature. These ones are unlimited. As you can see, I made just a handful. There's a few more in storage. So these can actually be repaired. As you guys know, I am a huge fan of unlimited items when it comes to stuff like this, because it saves markup. You pay the markup one time, you can just take it to the repair terminal and use it over and over. I also decided not to make the limited version because there's just not a ton of demand. Tree cutting is generally not thought of to be profitable, so therefore if I made a whole bunch of these that were limited and threw them on auction, I'd probably just be wasting a lot of auction fees. The unlimited version, because you don't have to pay markup over and over, they're worth about TT plus $3, give or take. Pretty steady demand there. So I decided to make a handful. The question is, will I keep them all for myself or will I sell some? I'm not exactly sure. I'll probably end up selling a few. So one thing that I want to talk about before we get started is, again, being sure we're maxed on the item. So I'm going to go to the show detail page, and I can see that the required level to start using the TerraTech PH-3 is Resource Gatherer level 6, and I'm currently 10.9. So skill increase learning period is 6 through 10. 22 uses per minute, success rate 100%, range is 1, and max wood tier is huge tree. So since I am maxed, I decided to use this one. Now, there are some lower level ones available in the trade terminal. If you don't happen to already be a level 10 resource gatherer just by naturally skilling your other skills, I would not jump straight to this one. And that's where a lot of the losses occur, I think. That's why a lot of people say it's unprofitable, is because they don't have a high resource gatherer to start with. They get that limited one from the trade terminal, they use it, they're getting more skills than they are loot, and they're getting the skills, but that doesn't compensate to PED back on the PED card, right? So because of that, over time they use 5 or 10 of them, and they're like, screw it. I got lucky. I was already maxed out. Not even in the SIB, skill increase bonus period. I was literally already maxed. So I don't have to worry about that. So I should be getting some skills, and I should be getting some loot. Now the thing is, the reason people cut trees is not for markup. And this is one reason I don't go out doing it actively. I'm all about markup. I only want to do things that have markup, because I know long term the game is not going to give me profit. It's the markup on the stuff that I sell that's going to give me profit, right? But everybody is obsessed with looter professions. If we hit P, we can come down here and we can see our looter professions: animal, mutant, and robot. We can see I'm 27, 25, and 22 respectively. And what we know from MindArc is the higher your looter profession, the better your loot returns. But let me explain why that's not a big deal to me. It's only 0.07% average return per level. So to get 7% better TT value in your loot, you would have to be level 100 resource gatherer. Guys, you're never going to be able to chip in that much skill. You're never going to be in to harvest that much wood to get you there. That's only going to come from years and years and years of just hunting and hunting and hunting and hunting and cycling PED and just hunting until your eyes bleed, and then you're just getting started. You're never going to do something like chip in or cut wood to get to level 100 animal looter or mutant looter. But it can be a good way to give you a little boost. So notice I'm pretty close to 30. On Animal Looter 30, there's an unlock of a hidden skill. I'd really like to get that, but before Halloween Mayhem, and I had literally zero resource gathering skills because my profession grew from the other skills that are related to it, like athletics. So I decided to give this a shot. So first thing to note is that you can only see which trees are harvestable once the item is equipped. So I had 6.08 TT. I've only used it, I believe, twice since I very first started using this. So now I'm down to 4.38. So notice that now that it's equipped, I can scan my surroundings and notice that the trees that are harvestable, it'll say small tree, large tree, large tree, and notice that there's a blue kind of outline around it whenever I get close to it, right? So when you cut the trees will disappear. Now they will respawn, but it takes hours. It's not like mining where it might take a half an hour. It takes literally hours. So you just run up, and I'll drag my skills so that we can watch my skills here. I hit F for interact, and notice I've got 1.19 in zoology and 1.18 in resource gathering, and there's my loot. So now I'm going to go on to the next small tree. Oh, it's still cutting the same small tree, my bad. 1.58 in resource gathering. Okay, so the thing is, guys, the trees are going to be spread out. They're not always going to be clustered together like this. I did not start shooting this video until I found a cluster of them. And then I just literally repeat. This is it. I just find trees that it says small, large, medium, huge, whatever. And I just walk up to it and start using the tool. Now, as I'm using the tool, it's decaying. Notice how the tree just disappeared, right? So it's just like a mining claim. After I harvest it, it's going to disappear. It's not just going to stay there. Now, they will respawn. They don't necessarily respawn in the exact same areas. I've had some reports that they do respawn in the exact same areas. I've had some reports that they respawn close to the exact same area. But there is a wait time, and it is several hours long. So this is not something you can just stand in one spot and do. So one thing that I want to make everybody mindful of when you're doing this is a good thing to do is to also be looking for stones and fruit. Because again, we know long term the money is in the markup. The money is not in the actually playing of the game. It's in the markup of the loot we get, right? And there's just really, really, really bad markup when it comes to wood. So let's see, I'm down to 2.38, so I was at 6.08, so that's what, 4.6-ish, 4.7, something like that. So 0.93 PED, 0.24, and 2.2. So 2.2, 3.1, 3.3. So I'm down a little bit. I'm down probably about a PED just off those couple of uses. I did do some harvesting before this video. I already burned up a couple and threw them into the storage unit, and I was actually up probably, I think total, I spent like 20 PED and I came out with like 23 PED. So all considered, you're not going to make money. You're probably actually going to lose just a hair whenever you're out doing this. But you're going to be gathering those skills that will slowly but surely add to your looter professions. Now, the thing is, guys, there comes a point where it's not really worth doing this. If Mindark makes some new blueprints that have a whole lot of uses for wood, that might be different. But right now, there's just no markup, so all the loot I get pretty much goes into the trade terminal. There's very, very little demand and even less markup. So whenever I'm out running around looking for trees, I want to be in a pretty heavily wooded area. That's key number one. And number two, the type of tree I'm looking for. Let me see if I can find a good example since I just cut all those down. Let's go over this way. So you would think that a small tree would be short and a big tree would be big and a huge tree would just be massively round. That's not necessarily true. So there's a couple different types of trees, and I do play with my settings relatively on low or even custom low. Excuse me, guys. Sips for the haters. So I look for a specific type of tree. So see this general type of tree here, where it's just thin and tall. That's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for a little bit thicker trees, because what I've noticed is the small, the medium, and the large, they more or less have the same design. Like this one right here, this big thick one, this could be a huge, it could be a large, right? This thin one right here, it could be a small, it could be a medium. Now, just because a tree's short doesn't mean it's a small tree. So it's kind of a weird deal because it's like Mindark just picked 2 or 3 types of trees, and they aren't typically what you would think of if you were designing a game like this. And they just said, okay, let's make these small and medium, let's make these massive and huge, and let's make these, medium and large. So it's kind of a weird deal. But literally, you just run around and look for trees to cut. Now, obviously, this could be a huge waste of time if you're not finding a lot of trees. So this is one of those things that I say, let's put things together. I'm actually currently out mapping part of Calypso for mining. So since I'm not finding any trees, I'm just going to switch over and I'm going to drop a mining probe. Because I'm mapping. So when I'm mapping, I'm not doing the same thing that I do whenever I'm actively out mining. A lot of times if I'm actively out mining, what you'll notice is that I'm usually in one very concentrated area looking for one particular resource. And a lot of times I'll drop a lot of probes back to back to back, and I'll usually have a big amplifier on my mining gear. I'm not doing that. I'm not using any amplifier on my mining gear. I'm not going to be dropping a lot of probes back to back to back. I'm just kind of out exploring, see if I can find those nodes where there's lots of trees, seeing if I can find those nodes where there's lots of mining claims. I'm glad I made the video when I did. I'm glad I started it when I did, because that might be the only example of some cuttable trees I get to show you guys today. There's some areas where they're super dense. I was in an area earlier, whenever I did that first 25 PED run, where literally the cuttable trees were so dense, I had to teleport back because I could not move. I was too far overweight. And that's one kind of downside to tree cutting, is the stuff is heavy. So there's a tree right there. So notice right now I've got minimal loot on me. So notice I'm at 272 kilograms, right? So let's cut this one tree and see what happens. Oh, there's a couple here. We'll go ahead and cut them. So see, this is a good example of a large. Could also be a huge. And see, that one looks just like it, but it's a small one. I would expect a small to look more like this. So let's cut this one. And let's see how my weight goes up. So I was at 272, 273, 274. 275, 276, 277, 278. So I went up literally, 6 kilograms right there. For a newer player, that's going to be massive, because I've actually spent some time doing melee. I've actually spent some time practicing my strength and getting my strength up. So I've got pretty good carry weight compared to most new players. So for me to get overweight that fast is rather impressive. Already at 280, 281, 282. Right there, just add 10 kilograms between these two trees. And you'll notice that as you're using the tool, every now and then you do get a resource failed message in yellow. Harvest attempt failed to generate usable resource. That's probably going to be where most of the losses come from. Because what I've noticed is it still takes the decay of the tool, but you're not getting anything. It's almost like dropping a mining probe and getting no resources found message. You're still spending the probe to try and find a mining claim, but there's nothing to be found, right? So you're just out. So it's kind of the same with decay. I am in a PvP area at the moment, even though it's non-lootable, so that might have something to do with it. But I have a feeling long term, if you were to keep an eye on your tool, what you're going to notice is you're still using that decay, because the tool's being used. The fact that I'm in a PvP area probably doesn't affect that. The tool's being used, you're just not finding any wood. Just because the tree is harvestable does not mean there's a large amount of wood in it, right? It doesn't mean you're going to get something with every single pull. So it's one of those things. I'm really, really hesitant to tell you guys to go do it. That's one of the reasons I've put this video off for so long. It's one of the reasons I've avoided doing it myself. Again, I see, like, okay, this is me. If I was programming this would have been a small tree. That's not how they decided to do it, but that's how I would have done it. I would have actually made a small tree small. So, guys, the reason I've put this video off for so long is, like I said, I only like to do stuff where I know I'm getting loot that has markup. Because at the end of the day, I know that Mindark is not going to pay me to play this game. If they were, they would be sponsoring this YouTube channel. If Mindark was paying me to play, they would literally have me on the payroll and just send me checks, right? That's not how it works. To win at EU, to really make money, what you have to do is you have to go after that markup, and it can't be a now and then type thing. It has to be an all the time type thing. Even doing a very small amount of stuff that is not markup related can be very, very detrimental to your PED card. So that's why I've put this off for so terribly long, because we just know there's no markup in the wood. Now, like I said, depending on your reasons, can there be a reason to do it? Sure. If this helps push me past where I need to be to get my animal looter to level 30 and unlock that hidden skill, is it worth it? Probably, because the cost is very, very small. And because I'm getting a lot of skills early on, because I don't have a lot of skills already, that could make a huge, huge impact in my profession standing. In fact, let's check my profession standing. Notice I'm almost level 26 mutant, and I seem to be increasing my animal looter pretty quickly. But again, I didn't have any to begin with. So the fact that I'm getting all these resource gatherer skills now is huge. So let's just check something real quick. 742997. Let's just see what happens. I want to see how it actually affects it. We know we're getting the skills, but how is that affecting the actual profession? And see, guys, what's weird is sometimes the small trees get far more loot than the big trees. Like, I'm just kind of doing whatever because we're on the YouTube video right now. But if it's me out here doing this to try and get skills and get loot, I'm not going after the big trees. I'm going after almost exclusively the small trees. And I've actually heard several other players who do this a lot tell me the small trees give more loot, the big trees give more skills. Level 11 resource gatherer. Let's see if there's any more right around here. So let's see if that made a dent in the professions. It did. So I went up a entire 1% in mutant looter, and I went up almost a percent in animal looter. I went from 27.74 to 27.75. So it does matter. And again, guys, the reason I'm getting gains like that is if we go to my skills, highest to lowest, let's see, where are they? I mean, it's got to be right in here near the bottom, because I literally did not have any until I started. So resource gathering, 139. So remember, each skill is worth more than the skill before it, less than the one after it. So I'm gaining an incredible amount of skills for somebody that's already got 5,000 skills worth of skill points of resource gathering. They might be able to do this all day and only gather 2 skill points. So the fact that I'm manipulating the amount of skill points I have for a skill that I have virtually none of is what is allowing me to manipulate my animal looter profession so drastically. So it's conceivable I might be able to spend $10, $20, so, you know, 100, 200 PED. And I might be able to hit that level 30 animal looter, which would be really nice. But is it really worth it long term to just get to level 30? I mean, it's kind of not really. And again, this is one of those things, it just makes me feel icky. Like, I literally feel like I'm just icky. Like, you ever done something that you didn't want to do because you were like pressured into it or something, and then you just felt dirty afterwards? You guys know the kind of reference I'm making. It's almost like that, because that is how I really feel about this. It is not something I want to advise new players to do. It's something I think maybe experienced players could do if they had a reason to do it, if they had a really good reason to do it. And a really good reason is maybe, like I said, you're where I am and you're just trying to get a little bump to unlock a hidden skill or something. But to just go out and do this all day to be doing it, A, it's boring, and C, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So let's look at loot real quick before we end the video. 1.83, 5.33, 1.29, so we take that, so it's 6.6, 7.6, so 8.4, So I'm roughly down a ped and a half, 2 peds, something like that, right somewhere in there. So is it going to be a huge loss? Probably not. Is it something I want to do all day, every day? Definitely no. I'm never going to make enough money from raising that looter profession. I'm never going to make enough money from shipping the skills out. So guys, this has kind of been my little introductory guide to cutting trees. Do not plan on seeing a lot of content like this because I know it's something a lot of people enjoy. I know it's it's something that a lot of people are all about. But for me personally, again guys, I'm all about markup. If there's not markup in it, I'm not doing it. So guys, I hope this has been informative. I hope it helps you decide whether or not you want to do tree harvesting. But for me, I probably will not be doing it again after this video. So that said, I'm going to leave it there for today. I've been StevieB with EarnPED.com. EarnPED.com. When you earn, we earn. It is by far the best way to support us. Go over there, earn you some PED. When you earn, we earn, and we really appreciate every single person that goes over there and helps us with that. Guys, I do have a big announcement. I've got a video coming probably later today, could be tomorrow. And in that video, you guys are going to have an opportunity to make a lot of PED. So I received a message from another player. Damn it. Hate it when that happens. Received a message from another player, and I'm going to be putting out the details in a video coming out later tonight or tomorrow. There's an upcoming event. It is going to be absolutely free. All Stevies are invited, and at that event you will be able to get some prizes. You'll be able to make some PED. It's going to be a really good event. So I hope to see you all there. I'll be putting out the details, like I said, later today or tomorrow. It's going to be one that you guys definitely will not want to miss. Hit that little subscribe bell. Hit the thumbs up button. We appreciate it, Stevies. Y'all stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Take care, Stevies.